Alright, so terminology is coming up next. Now I understand this may not seem like a video you want to watch, but it is very important that we do speak the same language to each other so that we're on the same page. Alright, so if I say something, I hope that you have the same exact meaning for it. So we're going to run through this really quickly. Here we go. DB. Whenever you see DB in your workouts, that means dumbbell. Usually dumbbells come in pairs. You're going to have two of those, alright? Those are those handheld weights. BB means barbell. So that's the long bar that you add the weights to the end, okay? And then we've got BW, means no extra weight necessary, just your body weight will be the resistance for that exercise. KB stands for kettlebell. That's going to be the iron ball that has the handle over the top. So sometimes you can replace a kettlebell with a dumbbell for an exercise, that's fine. But usually kettlebell exercises are certain exercises. So next would be OH, overhead. Movement overhead is what that would be referring to. UH would be underhand. So underhand grip would be how you would hold the thing that you're doing. So let's say it's a chin up. You would grip underhand. That means palms facing you, and then pull up over and over, something like that. That's just one example. Now the opposite would be overhand, where your knuckles face you and your palms face away. So overhand versus underhand. There's also neutral grip, which would be neutral, neither one. It was overhand, underhand, neutral grip. Okay, moving on. SA and SL, single arm, single leg. Some exercises are just going to be one limb or the other. Now, there's less fun graphics on this side, but these are very important ones that we want to make sure we're on the same page with, okay? Reps. So 1 rep of an exercise is going to be up, down, that's the movement, that's 1. Do it again, that's 2, 3, okay? So we're going to want to make sure that we are not confusing those with sets. Sets, you would do, say, 10 reps of an exercise, or 12 reps, or 15 reps, and then that's considered a set, okay? You're going to then want to take rest in between your sets. So the rest is very, very important. You don't want to just roll right into the next set right away, because your muscles aren't getting the adequate rest needed in order to perform to that optimal level in the following set. And if you do just run right into it from set to set to set with very minimal rest, then that means you're not working hard enough in each of those sets, okay? So pay attention to those rest periods that are laid out for you. Tempo, how fast you do each exercise. So if you start here for that overhead press and you go, that's a little bit too quick, it's not safe and it's not effective. So you probably hold heavier weights that make it so that you can go up and down at a slow and controlled tempo. So usually that's going to be about 1 to 2 seconds up, 1 to 2 seconds down. We may vary that a little bit, but I'm not going to get extremely detailed with that. It's probably beyond the scope of the course, but your tempo, if I say slow, then that means extra slow. So that's going to be like 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 seconds for each phase of that exercise. So that's tempo, how fast or how slow, the tempo that you use for each rep. Superset, that's when you take 2 exercises and you combine them together, and that's a set. You're going to do, like, say, exercise A, then exercise B, and then you're going to take a rest and then start again. Exercise A and B. So when we group them together that way, that's a superset. And then each versus total, sometimes I might have you do a single arm or single leg exercise. If I say 10 each, it means you're going to do 10 reps on one side and then 10 reps on the other side. And then versus total, if it's a twisting exercise, I might just have you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 50 total exercises, or reps, right? Or maybe it's 10 total reps. So that would mean 5 on each side, okay? 10 versus 10s, if I have you doing a dumbbell exercise and you're using 2 weights, I might list it as 10s or 15s or 20s, plural. That means you're going to use a 20 and a 20, or a 10 and a 10. Compared to 10-pound. If you're using a 10-pound weight and it's only one of them, I'll list it that way. All right, next, ROM. This is a major one. This is a very important one. Range of motion. That's, say for this exercise, the overhead press, I'm going to go up all the way till my arms get straight and back down until I'm just above shoulders. That's a full range of motion, as opposed to doing a half range of motion. This isn't as effective. You're not taking the muscle through its full range. of movement. So instead you want to use a full range of movement always. That way it's more effective and you're using the proper intensity, because if you end up going partial range of motion in order to do more weight, then your intensity is too high. So we need to be able to take that muscle through that full range of motion. All right, next, failure. Not to be confused with a bad version of failure or a negative connotation. Failure is taking your muscles to failure. So that means when I have you do this, you'll be going, let's say number 7, let's say number 8, it's getting really challenging, but you can still do it. And then number 9, I'm almost to failure, but I'm not. And then number 10, if I push and I push and I push and I just can't possibly do it, my muscles won't let me unless I cheat and use that form. That's taking it to failure. And that's what we want. When the time is appropriate, you'll see that indicated on your workouts with some little asterisks. Okay, and I'll explain that later too. But overload, this one's to be explained a little bit more down the road as well. There's ways to take it beyond failure, and that's really cool. So I'll teach you that stuff when we get to it. But for now, I want you to make sure if any of that was unclear, go back, rewatch the video, pause wherever you need to, digest that, and then be ready to implement and pay attention, because in your workouts you're going to be seeing all this terminology. All right, let's take care.